I've scaled this business up to a point where, I was doing about 9 grand a month in total. And we're consistently doing a minimum of 25 a month now. And by the time we probably get to the end of February, I'll be doing 30. I'm Tom. I've had this facility I've been in the industry now since 2010, 2011. And I've had this facility we opened the facility in 2017, so it's gonna be 9 years in January. But when we first opened in 2017, we were just doing group personal training. And when we opened the facility, the intention was to continue. Before I opened the facility, I was renting loads of other different facilities like studios to be able to run my business. So when I moved into here in 2017, it was immediately a good idea because I was paying less rent. So when we first opened, it was just to create this space to be able to continue doing group personal training. And now we've got other revenues. Now we do online coaching, we've got the gym memberships, and but the main thing we do is the group training. Before we started working together, I was at a point where we'd been open so 2017, we'd been open for 7 years, right? And the business had continued to grow, but we just plateaued, mate. We weren't getting anywhere, right? We just stopped. And it's because of the lack of retention, the lack of systems, the lack of decent sales. Everything was like normal Facebook posts, right? It just was a system that just wasn't built for growth, and that was a real problem, right? Soon as we first met, you were it was probably for you, laughable as to how easy it would have been for me to be able to grow my business because you know what you could have done. We were just lost, man. And I was at a point where I just had a child as well, right? And I was we were doing well. We was doing about 9 grand a month we was doing, mate. So before we was working together, obviously, the main thing we was always doing was group personal training. It was group personal training, 16 to 20 people in the session, right? We were relying essentially on word of mouth. We were doing general Facebook posts before, and didn't even have Instagram initially. It was just Facebook, and it was working. We had a decent profit margin, but again, we weren't signing enough people up to be able to grow the numbers in the group model, and then the retention just wasn't anywhere near as well as it should have been because there wasn't systems in place. When we first spoke, we had a really great conversation. Obviously, you probably speak to so many people. I obviously can really remember that, and I was both blown away by the level of confidence that you guys had, and almost put off by the fact that it just seemed so simple, right? Because it was just. And now, obviously, well, even within the first couple of weeks, it was just so clear that you guys have done this for so long. It's just such a simple, automated process to you guys. And as soon as you get involved, you think, oh my God, what have I been doing, man? Do you know what I mean? There's just so many things. And I remember you have that video, and I watched that, and then I sat down with my dad and watched it. And I was like, because he's not my business partner, but I would always ask my dad for, big, not so much these days, but yeah, and he was Mr. Pessimistic. Do you know what I mean? Even he was like, yeah, this sounds pretty decent, mate. There was so many things, mate, but it was the immediate professionalism, it was the immediate confidence that you guys had in your product. But yeah, I guess the guarantee as well. I was reflecting on this earlier today when I was thinking about obviously our chat, and the guarantee goes a long way because it's you saying, this is how confident that we are. If you don't get it right, and we're that confident that you will, it's idiot-proof, isn't it? Yeah. So it was everything, the support, the one-to-one support, the guarantee, the way that it was delivered. It's just it felt like perfect. It was no-brainer. In the first, obviously this is 2 years ago now. In the first 16 weeks, I did 91 sales. I had 200 quid a head. It's 18 grand. When we first got in contact with her, I had about 30 people in the program, paying me about 80 quid a month, right? What's the maths like? Quick maths, 3 grand really, or something like that, right? A little bit less than that. And it was cash, so there was no retention, which it was. When we finished the program, I did 18 grand. So we finished that program in February of 24, right? By the time we got to January of this year, so January 2025, which was about a year later, I had 110 people on the reoccurring, and that was in January. So by the time I got to January, which is it was over a year later, I was doing 9 grand a month of just reoccurring monthlies, and now I have 198 people. That's pretty saucy, mate. When we first started out, I had about 30 people that was on the reoccurring, and I was doing like £2.5 grand a month, right? Again, like hardly any retention with that. And then where we're at now, which is 2 years later of doing everything, you know, we've been working together for 2 years now. We've got 198 people that are on the reoccurring, and this is just reoccurring. There's no front end sales, there's no other avenue of income with this. I've gone from 30 people, 2.5K, to 198 people, which is pretty much 17 grand a month, which is pretty decent. It's because I've gone from £198 to £247 to £297 to being 347 now, and I still hit all of my targets. In August this year, I did 33 sales in a month at 347 quid. That's like 11 grand. That's mad, mate. Do you know what I mean? Even I'm still sat here thinking this is mental. If you told me I'd do that when we first started, I'd have been like, what the man? You're super busy, you've got a million different things to manage, right? You're trying to, you know, like if you've got like a 2-hour window, this is always the case for me, right? Especially in the early days when we had all the systems to build, and not necessarily build, but you get what I'm saying. There's always like little things to set, you know, like setting up Go Team Up, setting up all the automated messages and stuff like that. Having the time to do it while still running your business, and being able to, like, if I've got a little window of time, I think I need to get this done. Being able to say to you, mate, I need, you know, I'm struggling with this. Being able to have you, Tim, you know, Scott as well, to turn to, mate, it was just invaluable. You know, like, it's years and years and years of education. It's not like you've just decided to do this stuff. You've done it, created this hugely successful business yourself, and, you know, years and years of experience. It was just this really, really streamlined approach. For me, like, the one-to-one element was just a game changer, mate. There's not a lot you can do with cash in this country, right? I wanted to have a nice house, you know. There was a lot that I wanted to try and achieve. And I just didn't feel like it was a successful business because we had a good profit margin, but it wasn't a successful business on paper. And I was still a PT in a sense that I was on the gym floor more hours than I wanted to be. What I've managed to do in 2 years is get to a point where I feel like a business owner. I'm still very passionate about being on the gym floor. I still do sessions. I still like to be amongst, you know, the community. But I'm a business owner now, and I've scaled this business up to a point where, you know, I was doing about 9 grand a month in total. And I mean, we're consistently doing a minimum of 25 a month now. And by the time we probably get to the end of February, I'll be doing 30. And like, that's mental. And because of all these different systems and the fact that now it's a proper business, we've just bought this amazing house that I never thought I'd be able to buy, man. You know, you've always got those aspirations and those dreams, but mate, honestly, with the systems that you guys have put into place and being very consistent and hardworking for 2 years, you know, I'm not scared of hard work. I've got to a point where I've bought a house I never thought I'd be able to buy, you know? It's awesome. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people trying to grab your attention, and I felt like it was the right time to start listening to this type of stuff, right? So it obviously comes on your feed, and I was, you know, going around in circles. So it was like the perfect timing for me, right? But I still spoke to a couple of people, but it felt immediately right to go down this route with you guys because of, you know, so many different things. The experience, the way that it was laid out, was very clear that you guys were as passionate about trying to help us as we are, as I am about trying to help my clients. You know, if you're somebody who wants to ultimately grow their business and be able to help as many people as possible, because that's fundamentally the goal for me. Yeah, I want to grow my business, I want to have a better lifestyle, but I want to be able to help as many people as possible, right? If you're somebody who also wants to do that, stop wasting time, because otherwise, like for me, this will blow your mind, right? I opened a business in 2017, started working with you in 2023, and in the last 2 years, I just like didn't really make any progress in 7 years, right? In the last 2 years, I've like more than 3 times my business. It's about, you've got to make that leap, you've got to make that jump, otherwise you're just wasting time. You know, like if you're somebody who's ultimately really passionate about growing your business, if you don't change anything, nothing's going to change. You know, you've got to make that leap of faith, otherwise it's nothing's going to happen, is it?